Library. I am back with our February installment of STEM Shenanigans, so welcome back. Today we are going to do a zipline experiment, slash, I think at the end, if we can get two things to work, we're going to do a race, so bear with us. As usual, I have not practiced this in advance, so here we go. Just real quick, want to give another quick plug to the fact that at the Sellers branch now we have carts for browsing out in our foyer lobby area. So if you miss browsing, we miss you browsing. Please come browse in our lobby, socially distanced, of course, one person at a time. And you can check out new books, exciting books. So yeah, come on by during our hours and see the books we have in our lobby. So without further ado, here we go. I'm going to give you a rundown of the sort of smorgasbord of things that we have here. You can maybe see some chairs in the background here. That's where I'm going to rig up my two zip lines. One's going to be sort of hopefully faster, steeper, and the other one's going to be sort of a more gradual slope, you know, theoretically slower, right? What's the science we're dealing with here? We're dealing with like friction, so I have some straws that will hopefully cut down on friction, and just like the physics of gravity, right? Like going down a slope. So here's what we've got. We've got, like I said, I've got some straws here that will sort of function as like the pulley that like works on a normal zip line, a professional zip line, if you will. I've got two long strings. I think these are roughly 8 or 10 feet each. Probably won't need all of that. That's certainly not 8 or 10 feet there. But I just wanted to give myself some extra. I've got 3 cups. I've got this solo cup. I've got this little Dixie cup here, and I've got some sort of a little ramekin, you know, little condiment cup there, that are going to be our various, you know, carriages, if you will. I've got a couple of passengers. I've got a squishy globe, and I've got Winnie the Pooh here. Their butts are roughly the same size. I've got a coffee filter. I've got a couple of clothespins for fastening. I've got a couple of toothpicks, or not toothpicks, sorry, popsicle sticks for holding things in place. I've got some toothpicks, and I've got some rubber bands. I've got a couple of rubber bands. I've got about a half a sheet of cardstock. Got scissors to cut things with. I've got a pipe cleaner. So all of these are sort of going to go into like holding the passenger in place. I've got tape to hold stuff together. I'm not going to use my tape to tape my passenger in place. I feel like that would be cheating. So that's like one of the rules that I'm going to set. I'm not going to tape my passengers down. So the goal here is to have a zip line or 2 zip lines, if we get time to race at the end, that will safely get our passengers down to the bottom, right? So safely means they don't fall off at any point, including at the very bottom. So those are my goals. Get the passengers to the bottom without killing them. So without further ado, I'm gonna rig up my zip lines and tie them to these chairs, and then we will set to making some carriages for our passengers. So the first one, the one that's going to be closer to you, I'm going to do at a steeper angle. So I'm going to tie it up at the top here, and this is the top part. I'm going to have to like untie when I put my carriage on it, so I don't want to make it too crazy of a knot, but you know, something that will hold. All right. And then, so just keep that in mind, like as you're doing this, you want to be able to untie the top because you're going to have to take your top down. And I might even decide at some point to like rig it up with a rubber band or something, if it seems to be getting too complicated. But you want to be able to untie that to put your carriage on there. And in fact, be able to untie the bottom. Well, I guess not. Well, we'll see. We might have to try it lots of times, right? So we might have to untie both ends to be able to get it off of there. But anyway, here we go. So I'm going to tie it. You probably can't see me, but I'm like at the bottom, like sort of like footrest on the back of this metal chair. So it's, I'd say, like 4 or 5 inches off the floor. And they're probably like 5 feet apart. So I'm just going to tie that real quick. That is not going to hold, so I'm going to retie that. It also doesn't work if your zip line comes untied, because that is certainly one way to plunge your passenger to a scary death at the bottom. So let me just retie this. Get it like as taut as I can, tight as I can, and then I'll move on to the other one. Alright, so that's pretty good. Pretty good. Send that a little farther apart so it'll be a little bit tighter. Alright, I think that's probably workable. Okay, cool. So, yeah, and this is like waist high, so that's probably like 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, and the other one, like I said, is like 4 or 5 inches off the ground. So it's a pretty like good differential. This next one that I do, I'm gonna do a lot less steep. So this is a shorter chair altogether, so it's like probably closer to 2 feet off the ground here. So I'm gonna tie it to the top of here, to the back of the chair. Again. I didn't think this would be the hard part, but here we are. All right, that feels better. Okay, cool. And then again, I'm going to tie it to the bottom here. But again, that's a lot less steep of a slope. So it should ideally go slower. If all other things considered equal, this one should go slower because it's less of an intense angle, right? So, all right, we've got 2 knots there. All right, cool. So, now let's make some carriages. So, I think, so I've got these different cups, and there's a couple of things that I need to think about, right? Like one of them is how I'm going to strap my little passenger in, right? And the other is how am I gonna hang it from the zip line? So I know that I want to have like, I don't know, like about 1 inch or so of straw to sort of be the top of the piece that attaches to the zip line. Because again, like I think that this will give it less friction against the string than like a pipe cleaner, for instance, right? But how do I want to fix this to the cup, right? That's the question. So what I might need to do is cut off some of my excess string and rig it up like that. Or I can maybe use, you know what, I can maybe use these popsicles. I don't know why I keep trying to call these things all the wrong things. But what I can maybe do is like tape, yeah, that seems like it might work, right? Like tape these, and then rig up the string, or the the straw in the middle here. Like maybe I even tape it like this so that it just like holds it in the middle there. That might work. Okay, cool, cool. That's an idea. And then I can maybe do a similar situation with these clothespins on the other one. Or maybe even like one of each on each one. We'll see. But so then I need to decide which cup is going to be for which passenger. And I think that like this actually feels like the best the best cup. Like, although Winnie can sort of fit in there like that. So maybe that's pretty good. Winnie can sort of like slide down on his back, right? Like you would sort of do on a zip line. So maybe this is the right cup for Winnie, and this is the right cup for Earth. So maybe that's what we'll do. All right, cool. So that seems like a good plan. Interesting. Earth weighs a little bit more, but not a lot more. So that might come into play a little bit. We'll see if that affects how fast they travel down. We'll see. Okay, so then, right, I have a couple of things that I need to consider, right? I need to consider how am I going to safely keep my passengers in their carriages, and how am I going to fix the carriages to like hang from the string. So I think what I want is, let's see what happens if I do like this number, and then I could have like a longer piece of the straw. I wonder how that would affect it. Might make it harder to get down the zip line if I have a longer piece of straw, huh? Because it would have like more surface area touching the string, which might increase the friction. Yeah, so I think I do want just like a little piece of straw to touch the string, to like go around the string. So I don't want to have a whole big straw here. Boom. What we don't want. But, oh, I wonder if maybe these toothpicks could come into play then. Like, maybe I can, and I'm interested to see what y'all are doing at home. If you're following along at home, like if you have any pointers, I want to hear them. Or if you've already like got yours figured out and you're already racing it down your zip line. I'm gonna be jealous, but I want to know about it anyway. All right, well, let's leave Winnie out of there for a second and see what we can do. Because I can tape any of this stuff together that I need to. Theoretically, I can tape it so that it will hold. But so like, what if I rig up like, oh, you know what I could do? What I could do is like, this is pretty firm. This is like a really firm straw. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like not very bendy at all. It's like a little bendy. I'm not going to bend it as hard as I can, but it's a lot more firm than this straw, which is just like a regular plastic drinking straw. So what I can do is cut this in half, use one for each one, and then like rig this up, and then you tape like a little piece of this straw under it. So this can be the like firm thing that holds it in place, but this can be the little piece of a straw that slides along the string to try to reduce friction. I think that's probably the best way to go. All right, cool. So none of these like janky little like toothpicks that are gonna fall apart as soon as I put them on this zip line, which was exactly what was about to happen. All right, cool. So with that in mind, right, I am going to first make sure my passenger still fits in here. Ready? And then I want to, and this can also like help keep Winnie in place. But so I'm gonna tape this like popsicle stick to the outside here, and like tape this clothespin on the side here, and then I'm gonna tape this to to the top here, and then I'll tape the other piece of straw to this, and that will be the thing that hangs from the zip line. Cool. I don't think that's gonna be enough to keep Winnie in. I could be wrong, we can try it out. I suspect it's not gonna be enough. I suspect he would fall out like as we got to the bottom. So what I might do is, I think what I'm gonna use for the globe is actually just like either this coffee filter or a couple of rubber bands to like strap it in place. Again, I'm gonna commit to not taping either of the passengers into place because that feels like cheating. Or I could use like this little house here. We'll see. But I'm gonna focus on Winnie first. So let's tape. Here's my tape. Tape these two struts in place here and go from there. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna give it one piece of tape first, and then I'll probably come back and reinforce that with a second piece of tape because doesn't feel like that's gonna be enough, especially for my like faster, theoretically faster zip line. Yeah, I was reading, I don't know if you guys saw the article that I posted earlier today, but there's some zip lines that get up to like over 100 miles an hour, which is not what we're doing here today. But holy moly, man, that would be terrifying. Have any of y'all done a zip line? I did it once or twice. As we have discussed before, I am very afraid of heights. So I was surprised by my willingness to go on a zip line, but I did do it and it was pretty fun. And shockingly not as terrifying as I thought it would be. But yeah, it was cool. And obviously you want to like be safe about it and like go to like a reputable place that's like well regulated. But I am here to say that it is not as terrifying as it seems like it would be. At least that was my experience. All right, so I've got a couple of layers of tape on here. Tape is trying to fall apart, or trying to stick together. And I'm going to use this piece of tape on the inside for the other side of the clothespin, just because it feels like that might be a good idea. Why not? So, all right, cool. Yeah. Great. And now I'm going to, yeah, I can cut this in half, or roughly in half, and great. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna tape that down. Hopefully I can get this like taped down sturdy enough that it'll stay. I think I can. As my experience just now trying to like untape it to itself showed me, this is like pretty hardy masking tape, so hopefully it'll stay. All right, cool. So, all right, so we got that, which like feels like pretty good. Okay, cool. And we're gonna slip Winnie in here. All right, cool. So, and I'm not gonna like smush him all the way in there. I'm like just sort of like gently putting him in there, right? Okay, so I need to do two more things. I need to make a seatbelt for my passenger, and I need to put the other, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut myself like, I'm gonna go with like ½ inch, like basically like my thumb's width of of this straw, because again, I think that having less surface area is gonna be better for like reducing the friction, right? And that's what we want to make our zip line go fast. So, and I might even have to, yeah, I'm gonna reduce the tape here because there's too much of it. All right, get that off of me. Tape that to the table over there. All right, cool. So I'm gonna tape this onto the other straw. I might actually give it an extra piece of tape because it feels like it needs one. All right. And again, I'm just gonna cut that in half. Tape that to the table over here. All right, so second piece of tape. And all right, cool. So this feels like a contraption that's hopefully not gonna fall apart. I don't think it's gonna fall apart. And I'm gonna give Winnie a seatbelt. And it's just gonna be like a super simple like pipe cleaner that I'm gonna tape down. And I think that's gonna do the trick, right? That feels like he's not going anywhere. All right, so I'm just gonna wrap one good piece of tape around that. And then we'll give this a test. A little test drive here. Hope you make it, Winnie. All right, so I have a slight slope here. I don't know if you can tell. So I think I'm just gonna like go with it and angle it down like that instead of trying to like angle it up, because that feels like it would be sort of defeating the purpose and would like cause a brake issue or like act as a brake on it. So let's do this. Let's see how it goes. And then we'll make another one and then we'll race them. So here we go. I'm gonna stick Winnie, oh, let me go around so you can see me. All right, so I'm gonna stick Winnie here for now so I can get this untied. All right, and I might just like hold it instead of trying to retie it. Just because I feel like that's going to be less complicated. And so I'm just going to like hold it taut once I get the carriage on there. All right, so here we go. Good luck, Winnie. We're just going to like fold the string over because it's coming apart a little bit at the top, just to like get it through, thread it through. Okay, so here we go. Success. Awesome. I'm gonna actually move my camera a little bit closer so that you can see that all the way down, because I know you couldn't see the whole journey. But he made it, I promise. Let me move my camera a little closer so that you can see. Just make sure that you can actually see. Yeah, so there's the bottom of it. Okay, so you can see Winnie there. So let me just, yeah, okay, cool. So I'll do it again so you can see, because that was pretty cool. It didn't actually go as fast as I thought it might, which is fine. But yeah, cool. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna time that just to see like how fast it goes down, and then let's do it on the other one and see if it's significantly slower, because my guess is that it will be, right? It's like less of a slope. So, but let's find out. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. So I would say that was like 2.5, maybe 3 seconds. My phone is my timer, so I obviously can't time it exactly, but that's my guess. So let me tie this up again real quick, and then I'll do it on the gentler slope, and then we'll see how they compare. And then, like I said, I'll make a second carriage for my globe passenger, and then we'll race them. So, all right, so let's untie this one. Hang on, you can't really see me. Let me, there we go. So let me untie this, and then we'll see how this one goes. So again, I sort of tied this one at the bottom here instead of at the top, just to like give it, like make it as different from that one as I possibly could. They're the same distance apart, but they have like, I don't know, probably a good 1.5 feet in terms of the difference of like starting height. They finish at the same point at the bottom. About like I said, about 4 or 5 inches off the ground, but they start, the first one starts about 1.5 feet higher than the second one. So here we go. Oh man, you didn't even make it all the way. So yeah, and that's what I meant about like the friction. So it was like really, I don't know if you could tell, but the cup was not touching the ground when he stopped. It was like a couple of centimeters off the ground. That's going a little bit better, but he's still like, yeah, totally still hanging like 1 inch off the ground. So that's just like as far as it goes. Because the slope is so gradual, that it just like doesn't have the momentum to get him all the way to the ground, which is interesting. So I'm gonna try starting him just a teeny tiny bit higher, like at the top here. So this is like probably about 6 inches below this one, and we'll see how this goes. And that one works. Yeah, so that height really does make a huge difference. I mean, that was really just like 4 or 5 inches there of difference. That really like was the difference between him going all the way to the end of the line versus stopping sort of in the middle with the lack of momentum. So that's interesting. I wonder if it would make any difference if I made the cup heavier, or if I made the little straw piece that grabs onto the string shorter, so that there would be less surface area still. So I might try. And there's also like, I guess there's like a little bit of a piece of glue here on this string. So maybe I'll just real quick see if I can get that off, but that might take longer. So yeah, so I'm gonna try those other two things, because this, yeah, it really just like slows them way down. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna try making a piece of straw shorter. Yeah, and see what that does. Because I do want him to like be able to make it all the way down, all the way down the line. That's one of my goals, right? To like make it all the way down the zip line so that you're not stranded above the ground. Even if you're only stranded 1 inch above the ground, you're a 3-inch tall bear. So that's kind of a big deal. So I'm gonna try cutting a bit off here. I'm just gonna kind of pull it off, maybe. Might, you know what? I have plenty more straw. I'm just gonna cut it all the way off and start over with a shorter piece. So it turns out this is really good masking tape. Now I got it. Okay. So again, if you are doing this at home and you have any that's working, I want to know about it. Okay, so I'm going to start with a smaller yet piece of straw. So this is like really like even less, like not even as wide as my pinky. It's just like, I don't know, like 1/3 of an inch or something. And see what that does. So it's like this big. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna like cut my tape down. And I think I can just like reuse this piece of tape because I'm gonna cut it so small because my piece of straw here is so small. So I'm just gonna tape it back on here. Right, okay, and then one more time. Again, I just want to make sure that there's no like tape touching the string because that's definitely gonna cause some friction. That's gonna slow us down. Let's see if this is narrow enough. Nope, needs to be a little bit smaller. But now we'll just give him another try on that second line. And actually we'll give him a try on the first line too, just to see if he's faster, because who knows, maybe he'll be faster on the first line too. Let's find out. All right, cool. So I've got a smaller piece of straw is the word I'm looking for. Straw taped on there. So I'm gonna try the second line first, just to like see if we can get them all the way down. Because if not, then maybe I need to try something else. But yeah, let's find out. All right. So once again, I'm gonna like put the string through. And then like hold it up over here. So again, this is like 1 foot or so, maybe a little over 1 foot. Oh yeah, that definitely works better. So yeah, I think he's all the way, yeah, he's down to the ground now. So we did it. Having less surface area that's touching the string gives him less friction, so it slows him down less. Yeah, that's totally a lot faster. That's really cool. So then, and so this is like sort of this, because this slope is so much more gentle, this is sort of as far as he can go. He doesn't make it all the way back to the other chair because he just doesn't have the height to get there. Which is fine, like you can get off on the zip line whenever your feet touch the ground, right? But yeah, so that's interesting. So I'm gonna time it here and see, and it's interesting because like he doesn't get all the way down or all the way to the end, so timing it is sort of interesting, but maybe I'll time it to like the same point. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm gonna time it real quick. 1, 2, 3. Interesting, he didn't make it all the way down that time. But I think it's also like partially the string is sort of has like a fraying point right here that I'm gonna sort of try to work out. So 1, 2, 3. Interesting, he's not making it all the way down anymore. But he did that first time. Anyway, all right, so let's move on and let's time it with our new and improved straw holder on the faster one and see how fast you can get to the bottom of that. So it takes them about 3 seconds, a little over 3 seconds to get to the end of how far he can go on the slower one. Let's see what happens on the faster one. 1, 2, whoa, 2 seconds, definitely faster, right? It was like almost a good solid 3 seconds last time that I did it on here, but it's way faster now. But the good news is he survives getting to the bottom. He is in fact still in our cup holder. So this is awesome. All right, cool. So I feel pretty confident and solid and happy with this contraption here. Hopefully Winnie feels similarly. So I'm gonna make another one for my globe and see which one wins. So, all right, I'm gonna turn you back around so we can do this together. And put you back over here. Hello again. All right, so this is model one. Model one. And then, all right, so we've got our globe here. And I think I wanna do like, I guess a similar sort of idea. But what I might have to do, something different to get it to go around here. So what I might have to do, oh, interesting. I wonder, so again, I want to have like this number like hooked up here, but I got to get above the globe, right? So I got to have something good enough to get above there. And this will get me there with my clothespin. And second question, if I use this clothespin, does my globe still sit? And the answer to that is not really, no. So that's interesting. Okay, so I need a different strategy. I still think my straw idea is the winner, but maybe what I need to do is, yes, okay. Maybe what I do is I take my popsicle stick and I use that on one side and then use this, like tape this to that to sort of make like a flap over here. And it's like that. And then put the straw up here. And then I can use like, oh, you know what I can use and do something totally different? Because this will do a certain amount of holding the globe in place, I think what I can do is use just these toothpicks to like hold it in place on the sides. So not even like I was talking about before, I was talking about using like the rubber bands to just like sort of strap it down with the rubber bands. I'm gonna go a different way, and I'm just gonna have these toothpicks to sort of support it on the sides, and this will support it on the top and on the like front and back, and I think that'll do it. All right, let's try. Okay, so take everything apart. Popsicle stick over here, tape it down good. And this was sturdy. Like Winnie's carriage was totally sturdy. Like there was no shaking, there was no trying to come apart. Like it feels like the construction is solid. So I feel confident in my like level of building construction. So that's good. So I want to do this with the globe in because I want to make sure that I'm getting it big enough. I'm going to do this like this just so I have like extra space and like flexibility on the part of this so that I can definitely like get it over, right? And have enough overlap to be able to tape it down well. See what I'm saying? So it's like gonna overlap with the cup down here by like a good ½ inch so I can tape it down. And same over here so I can tape it down. But that just like gives me enough space to get over our round little passenger. Okay, so I'm going to tape it onto a clothespin. And again, I think like once I'm done putting this on, I'll probably run another piece of tape. Well, once I've done like putting everything on, I think I'll run like an extra piece of tape all the way around the outside to like tape everything down really good. except for passenger, right? Because we're not taping those in place. That's cheating. But just to like make sure that, again, that our construction is sound. So giving this some overlap here, and I'm going to tape that down. You can see what I'm doing, just like taping that into place there. I'm going to give it an extra piece of tape just because. I'll give it another piece of tape on this side just to like help out a little bit. Cool. All right, so got what looks like a sail at this point. We would have a really, well, I was gonna say an excellent sailboat. I don't know about an excellent sailboat, but we'd have a sailboat. So we've got this so far. And all right, so now I think I need to go ahead and put my globe in there so I can make sure that it goes in and that that I have room for it. So now I'm going to tape it down on this side. And this is going to be pretty tight, but that's okay. All right, so I've got that. And I think I'm just going to like reinforce it like here and here, if that makes sense. Just because like there isn't a lot of surface area. Like I don't want to try to like wrap it around. That just like seems excessive and just like more trouble than it's worth. So I'm just going to reinforce on both sides, and I think that'll be fine. I'm just like, actually I'm gonna reinforce up here because this is like trying to pull away. So just gonna like put some little reinforcements on there, just so we don't fall apart. I would hate for our little globe friend to die due to shoddy construction. Hi Ruth, we are not on Zoom, we are just on Facebook Live, so you are in the class. So again, I'm just going to reinforce like here. And at the bottom. All right, cool. So, and now, I mean, probably the globe would stay in here, but I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to go ahead. There's like not much movement, but there's a teeny bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my toothpicks on here and then give it another good loop of tape around the whole thing, just to make sure everything stays in place. So one toothpick. Okay, and a second toothpick. And then, like I said, I'm going to tape a little piece of straw up here, and that will be our connector to our zip line. So, right like that, and then like I said, I want to add another loop of tape around the outside, just to make sure everything is good and strapped down. So I'll do that on the bottom here. All right, so it's going all the way around. All right, so I'm just going to get that down as good as I can. All right, so that feels pretty secure. Nothing's going anywhere. I feel good about that. Now I want a piece of straw, and what we learned last time is that we want this to be like as small as feels like structurally sound. So again, I'm gonna go for something that's like a little bit less than the width of my pinky. So it's like yay big. So it's like, you know, like a half an inch to a third of an inch or something. So I'm just gonna tape that on top here. And I'm gonna give it a good couple of layers. So that it is really well attached. And, all right, so there's one layer. And this one's a little bit too wide. Again, we don't want any tape like gonna touch the string because that's gonna add friction. And as we saw, last time, that friction really does like make a huge difference in terms of like how fast it's able to go and if it's able to make it all the way down. So let's give this a shot. We'll start it on the faster line. And then we'll try the second one. So let's do it. I'll bring you over here again so that you can see the finish line, if you will. There we go. All right. And then I will get us up here. I know you can't see the start of it, but put it up here. And again, this like starting line is about, oh gosh, I dropped my string. The starting line is about probably 3 feet off the ground, and the finish line here is about 4 or 5 inches off the ground. And then, again, that's just like arbitrary. It's like what I had available to me. And it's about probably 5, maybe 5.5, 6 feet long. So I have not done the math on that rise and run, but that's what you got going on here. So let's see. Oh yeah, that is like good and speedy and smooth. The globe survived the journey. Awesome. So let's count that and see how, oh yeah, see how fast it goes down. 1, 2, maybe 2.5 seconds. Let's try it again. One more time, and then we'll switch it to the slower one. Maybe gentler. 1, 2, yeah, just like a little over 2 seconds. Cool. So now we will do the other one. Let me tie this back up here real quick. All right. And then, okay, so this one, just to review, is about a foot, starts off about a foot lower and ends about the same height, about 4 or 5 inches off the ground. Same distance, about 5, a little over 5 feet. So that's sort of the differential of the two. So let's see how this one does. No, it's getting stuck here. I am going to, I think that's like mostly due to my string, so let me see if I can fix that real quick. Just a second here. Because my string has a rough spot up here, so I think that's really affecting it getting off at the start. Maybe that I cannot fix that, but I'm gonna try. You know what? I'm just gonna use my scissors. I'm gonna cut this string real quick, or cut that rough spot off of the string real quick. Give me a second, because that's like I'm noticing both of the carriages getting like caught on that rough spot as they get started. And I think it's like really affecting how they're able to get off on their start. So let me just see if I can cut that off, and maybe that'll be a little bit better for them. A little bit of a smoother ride. you know what I'm going to do? I am going to cut this string and retie it, actually, all together, because I have tons of extra string down at the bottom down there, and a couple of like pretty intense rough spots up here. So I am going to just like cut this and retie this zip line all together. So bear with me just a second, and then we will test this one out again. All right. All right, so I'm just going to put this part at the bottom here. All right, just like get rid of all of these rough spots so that we have, hopefully, smooth sailing. All right, so here we go. Plenty of string left. Great. Okay, let's try again. All right. Here we go. Hold this string nice and taut. Man, that's so interesting. So, I mean, again, it just like doesn't have the momentum to make it all the way down the line. Just like our other one didn't have the momentum to make it all the way down the line. So I wonder, you know what? I wonder if, I don't know that I can make it any more like aerodynamic, and I don't know if that would help, but I wonder, oh, you know what I could try doing though? I can try cutting away some of the paper in case that's like rubbing up against the string at all. So let me try that, and then see how that works. And then if that doesn't work, then I might try adding some weight to it, like at the bottom, to see if it can give it some more momentum. So those are the two things I want to try. Because, I mean, I'll give it another shot up here, but like it really wasn't making it all the way down the line, even with the even with the straw as short as I could make it. Yeah, it really just like stops right there. And it's interesting, I mean, part of it is that this zip line is so shallow, the like slope is so shallow that it's like almost flat at that point where it stops. Or like the weight makes it like flat there without giving it enough momentum to carry it all the way through. But yeah, so it just like stops there. All right, interesting. So let's try, I'm just gonna do this right here. I'm gonna try cutting like some of the paper on either side right here. Because again, I don't need it for like structural integrity in any way. It's not holding the like sides of it, are not holding the globe in. That's, you know, like, I'm glad that I have my toothpicks now because I'm not totally dependent on this paper to like hold the passenger in, right? Like I also have supports on the side. So good job, forethought, me. But so let me cut away as much of this as I feel like I can and still have like good structural integrity here. All right, cool. So now, well, let me make that a little smoother just in case. All right, cool. So now I've got a much smaller, like, sort of piece of paper here. So I would expect that it might be a little more aerodynamic, maybe, but it also, what I'm expecting is that it will probably be rubbing against the string less. And that's really what I'm going for here. So let's try it again. See what happens. And then we can try it on the top one and see if it goes any faster, because maybe it will. So, all right, back up here. That is actually significantly worse. Interesting, I wonder why. Yeah, that is like not going at all. I wonder, Yeah, I mean, it seems like for whatever reason, the paper is like actually rubbing against the string more, which is interesting and not what I expected. I wonder, I'm gonna try turning it around, first of all, to see if it works better going the other direction. Like if the, because I had like that sort of intentional slope on the first carriage, but I didn't do that with this one, but there might be sort of an unintentional slope that I hadn't noticed. So let's try to see if that's a thing we need to compensate for. Yep, seems like it was. But again, yeah, it just doesn't make it all the way down. That's so interesting. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, and in fact, it definitely gets stuck, well, about the same place, but a little higher up. That's so interesting. I wonder why. It doesn't, like, I don't think there's tape really, like, rubbing the string. Yeah, so interesting. All right, well, I might try, I wonder what I can use. I guess I can use like one of the, I guess I can use the clothespin that I have here. I can use the, oh, sorry, Winnie. I can use my clothespin to add a little bit of weight, but that's really pretty light. I don't really have anything heavy. I didn't anticipate needing anything heavy. I might just tape my pair of scissors to it and see what that does. Because I feel like it might be the weight, although, yeah, I mean, I guess this is a little bit lighter than this one, but it doesn't feel that much lighter. I don't know. It's so interesting. I did not expect them to perform this differently. Well, let's see. I'm just going to try taping my, I'm not going to tape my tape to it. That seems silly. But I am going to try taping my, my scissors to it because it's the heaviest thing I have here. And we'll just see what that does. All right, so it's gonna go, I see the slope now that I'm looking at it. There's like sort of a, and it's, you know what, it's like, actually as I'm trying to show it to you, it's even different because like this side is up here. Yeah, there is a little bit of a slope, sort of like this way, much more gentle than my hand actually even, but anyway, so go. All right, so I'm going to tape it on this way with an attempt to be as aerodynamic as possible, and give it one more piece of tape, and then we'll see what happens. All right, so my two goals, again, are to make it all the way down the zip line and not lose my passenger on the way or at the bottom. So I'm doing really good at not losing my passenger, but, well, and maybe that's like, you know, like maybe what's happening here is that we're testing the efficacy of the zip line itself, and maybe what we're finding out is that one with that gentle of a slope just doesn't work. Like maybe it's not possible. I'm gonna cut my tape here. Just, oh, not anymore. I'm not. I'm going to bend my tape a little bit just in case it's brushing against the string at all. But yeah, maybe what we're finding out is that a zip line that's that gentle of a slope just doesn't work in this kind of a setting. Like maybe it would work if you had an actual pulley, but like this doesn't work. So let's see if the extra weight will help. Here we go. So I will tell you that this is significantly heavier than it was. Oh, I'm going to get you closer so that you can see the finish line. Oh. There we go. There we go. All right, so okay. Thread it through here, hold it up to the beginning point, hold it taut. Huh. Even with that weight, it still can't quite make it. I mean, it makes it a little farther and a little smoother, but it still doesn't make it all the way to touching the ground. But it really does seem like, oh, I guess it can almost, but it's still like moving, so it's still not quite touching the ground, right? You can see that? I think you can see that. I'm not sure you can. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so it still doesn't quite make it to touching the ground. That's so interesting. I think it really, and again, like when I did it from 4 or 5 inches higher, it really made a huge difference because then it was only like 6 inches lower than the steeper slope. But this like definitely makes it all the way down. When I started up just 5 inches higher. But yeah, it just really doesn't work. Just really doesn't work to start it out that shallow. That's so interesting. I would not have predicted that. I thought that the added weight would give me some extra momentum. I wonder, actually, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try backing that chair up so that it has more space to gain momentum before it flattens out like that. And this might totally backfire. Oh no, my phone was supposed to be plugged in, but it's not very plugged in right now. Hold on. All right, well, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon because my phone is about to die. So I'm gonna try backing it up about 6 or 8 inches and starting it from the lower point again. So again, we've got a pretty shallow slope here. Let's see, give it enough momentum. No, definitely not. So it's so interesting. All right, well, cool. What we found is that the lower, that was just me like pulling it tight higher. The lower slope just really doesn't work to be that shallow of a slope, but even like 6 inches, less than 6 inches higher, really does. Oh, interesting, huh? Oh yeah, okay, so I moved it back. So let's see. So here I've like moved it both. I'm moving it to the like higher side here, so it's like only about 6 or 8 inches lower than that one, but I've moved it back the same distance. So it should be about the same slope, but now it's able to do it. That's so interesting. I think that it really did just like flatten out so much at the end that it just really couldn't do it. So what we found is that, I mean, I think I have a similar slope here, but moving it back and up about 6 inches, for whatever reason, lets it have the momentum. Maybe it's because it has enough extra momentum. extra momentum on the line. That's so cool. Okay, I want to race them. Here. And I'm going to put Winnie back on. And so much for tuning in again today. And you enjoyed it as much as I did. Yes, Winnie, we know you can make it all the way down to the bottom. I've had a lot of fun. All of its ups and downs. Our lessons in gravity and slopes and geometry and friction and all of those things. So here we go with the accumulation. We will be back next month on this same fourth